Good day folks. So today hopefully I'm going to show you how I go about painting my Union troops. So one of the first things I do is I try and turn all these hats into kepis. Now you can use a Stanley knife or a pair of snips. My snips are a little bit tired, but I do find it quicker using the snips. Pull up that for a minute. So all you need to do is just chop down the side of each hat. This. And one next to the bayonet, just chop it in and pull it to one side. And it does look a bit rough, but once you get the paint on, they all look pretty good. They all look like kepis. So I'm going to quickly turn all of these into kepis. So as you can see, they've all got kepis now. They do look a bit rough. I did used to file them all as well down the sides and that, but I found it's not really necessary because once you've got the paint on, you can't really tell any difference. So for my base coat for my Union, I use Games Workshop Kantor Blue. Let me get one for comparison. I don't think it's going to show up really well on camera. You can see it's just that little bit darker. And then once the Nuln oil wash goes over the top, it's even better. So this is going to be my base coat and the top layer for the jackets. I'm just slopping this all over, so give it a good undercoat. Right, finish that. Okay, so when they're all dry, what we're going to do now is give them all a dry brush with a 50-50 mix. Oh, not that one. Sorry, 60-40 mix of Prussian blue, 60%, 40% pastel blue. Use my trusty makeup brush, and we're just going to dry brush over everything. Not worried about trousers on these ones because they're going to get a different colour, so we're just going to concentrate on the hats and the jackets. Just a light dry brush, and then once the ink's gone on, that will give you a bit of a subtle highlight, and then you don't have to do anything else to the uniform coats. So just a very subtle dry brush. You can show it to on camera, but it will do in real life. Okay, so the next color I'm going to use is for the trousers. And I'm going to use Vallejo Deep Sky Blue for these. And again, we're just going to try and get this on quite quickly. So what you want to do is be neat around the tops where the jacket meets the trousers. Get nice, and then the rest of it, just slap it on like this. And then the same on the backs. So with all the trousers done, while we still got this same colour out, what we're going to do is we're going to look for all the water bottles. We're just going to paint them in. So just go along, find all the water bottles and paint them blue, front and back. So next colour we're going to use is Vallejo Flat Earth, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to paint the rifles, muskets even. So now I'm going to paint the whole thing, but we are going to be putting silver over this as well. But I do paint the whole musket so that when I paint the silver on, I don't have to worry that I've missed any bits. So I even get that on camera. So try to be very neat around the uniforms and things. Very difficult with my phone stuck in my face. Oh damn it, I put it all over. Right, so we're going to paint them, and we're going to paint all of the feet and the base. I did used to paint all the feet black, but I don't bother anymore. So I'm painting the base so that when I put the basing material on, if I miss anywhere, it'll just be brown underneath rather than blue. Don't worry if you get this all over the trousers a little bit, because the trousers are going to get a highlight anyway. And it just looks like mud on the trousers. Now if you are going to be extra neat with your basing, then I would suggest going in and painting all them boots black. But I know that my basing material is going to end up covering most of that, so there's no point in me doing it. Right, so let me crack on to all of them. Okay, so next thing I'm going to paint is the blanket rolls. And to do this, I'm going to use this colour, olive green, because I could use the darker green, but I want them to stand out a bit. And the reason I'm painting them green is because these are going to be an Irish regiment. Now, whether they would have had green blanket rolls, probably not. But I just want these to stand out for me on the tabletop. So I'm going to make mine green. I will be doing a whole brigade of these at some point, but for now just this regiment. Okay, so the next bit we're going to do, it's going to be a bit dark to film actually, so I'll just finish off with this one. I'll start again tomorrow. We're going to do the black, the strapping, the most boring bit. This I'm going to use black grey. We're going to do all the peak caps and all the strapping. And I say peak caps, I just mean the peaks themselves. So we're just going to get them, like that, all of them. And I'll show you on the back for the strapping. And we'll pick this dude. So we're just going to come along, paint that black line down there. Equipment on the side, style pouch or whatever it is. Basically go along and do all the black on everyone. Yeah, so the reason I use black grey as opposed to pure black is if you put Nuln oil wash over pure black, it just stays pure black. But if you put it over black grey, it darkens some of it and leaves some of it still a little blacky grey, so it instantly highlights it for you, so you have, well, low lights it for you, so you haven't got to do anything else to it. Okay, so with all the base colours on now, we've just got the metallics left. And for the silver, I'm going to be using plate mail metal, which is just a little bit duller than a bright silver. And what we're going to do is we're just going to apply this to all the musket barrels. So I like to paint the tops of them first, and then go on and do the bottoms afterwards. And some of the rifles, muskets, are back to front, so you only got to do the tips of them. So, crack on, do all the silver. So with all the silver done, we've just got one last colour to add, and that is Old Gold, and that's for the buckles and things. So they've got little brass, in the middle so you can see, brass buckles there. They've got a couple on the chests. And that's it really, and then obviously on the officer you've got his sword hilt, and I like to do the top of the flagpole. So go through and do all the gold. Okay, everything's ready for a wash now, and the great news is the wash is going to do most of the work for us. So I'm going to use Nuln oil, but first I've just gone over all my miniatures I've painted. And this is the mistakes pile. So there's a few different colours I've missed, like for example, I didn't do any of the black belts on them. And a few bits where I've gone over about colours. So right now I'm going to touch all these up and then I'll put the ink on afterwards. So I've given these metallics quite a while to dry, probably about over an hour, probably more than it actually needs. But the last thing you want is to put this wash on and the metallics are still a bit damp, so you end up with shiny models. So I'm just going to use this Nuln oil neat out of the pot and just slap it all over. One thing I have done with this Nuln oil is I've put a bit of matte medium in it because I didn't want it to be shiny, so I made sure it's definitely dull. Okay, so we're going to do all of the models now, front and back. Okay, so the ink's all dry. This is probably my 4th attempt to do this part of the video. So I'm going to paint the first strands now. These will really bring the miniatures to life a bit. So for my base coat, I'm using this highlights flesh, which is a really pale flesh, which is what you want because I'm going to put some wash over it afterwards. So we're just going to go in and paint all the faces like so, and then all the hands as well. Like that. So we're just going to go along and do them all on every figure. So you get the general idea. So with the flesh tones done, it's time to put the hair on. So for the hair, I'll be using 3 different colours: flat earth, black grey, and yellow ochre. And what I'll do is I'll randomly go along and pick random people and give them different facial hair. So I'm just going to show you with the brown. So we're just going to do his moustache. So and then remember to do the back of the hair as well. So what was he? 3rd guy in. So 3rd guy in, brown hair. So we're going to go along, pick out random different people with different colours and do them 3 colours. So we've all the hair done, all different colours and things. Next thing to do is put a wash over them. So I'm going to use Guliman Flesh contrast paint from Games Workshop. If you haven't got this, just use a flesh wash. I find this doesn't stain some of the areas quite as much. Paintbrush. And we're just going to go over all the faces and then all the hands, not forgetting the hair on the back. Okay, so I'm going to do all of them. So a little bit more I'm going to do on the faces. You don't have to do this, but what I'm going to use is just put a highlight on the flesh. Oops. I'm going to use Vallejo Flat flesh as my highlight. I'm just going to do the nose and the cheekbones, maybe the chins. So just a bit on his nose, a little bit on that cheekbone, a bit on the other one, and a bit on his chin. And then I'm going to go along and do all of them. Is it really necessary at this scale? Probably not. But I'm going to do it anyway. So I need to highlight the faces on the front rank. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just touch up the hair here and there using the same base colours as I used before, except on the black, and I'll use London Grey on that. Now, because these are an Irish regiment, I'm going to make a couple of these guys ginger. Because I can. So yeah, I'm going to go through and do a few ginger guys. But again, I'll only do this on the front rank. All the faces done. Faffing about. And now I'm going to highlight the trousers. So for the trousers, I'm going to use pastel blue, which is recommended to me by my very good friend Paul Becker's, the late Paul Becker's. So that is the colour you must use for Union trousers. And I'm going to do the blanket rolls, just use the original colour, olive green, to highlight them up. So we're only going to highlight the fronts, and you just pick out areas where you think there should be a little highlight. Like that. And we're going to go all across the fronts of all of these, just picking out subtle little highlights. And then for the green, we're only going to highlight the backs of the rear rank, and it's just a case of just put a little blob on in the gaps, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Right, so that's all the painting done. So next time you see these, they will all be based up, flags added, finito. Everything done. Done all the bases. So this is the first regiment of my my Irish Brigade. There will be another 3. I have given a few of these guys ginger hair on purpose. I think I mentioned that actually. So that's the command stand. And then finally, the last one in this regiment. So another regiment added. And while I was painting them, at the same time I painted these Hawkins Zouaves. And these are all in blue because I had a flag for them, which I was very pleased with because with them being all in blue, they were nice and easy, or all in dark blue I should say. They were nice and easy to paint. So, 9th Regiment New Year Volunteers. Yeah, nice and easy, these ones. That's what you want. Does anyone know, because I haven't got any source books, but were any of the regular infantry regiments, these guys, were any of these all in dark blue? Please let me know in the comments below if you get this far in the video. So that is that. That's another couple of regiments added. And that is my painting technique for these Union troops. I hope you made it to the end, and if, as I say, if you do know if any regular Union troops were all in dark blue like that, let me know, because it will save me a bit of time if I can do a few like that. Anyway, I've waffled on way too long. There will be some stills at the end. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you next one.